Imagine waking up and realizing your heart is a ticking time bomb, literally. If you stop moving, if your adrenaline drops for even a second, you're dead. That's the nightmare Chev Chelios just woke up to, and trust me, his morning is going way worse than yours. He's been injected with a Beijing cocktail, a synthetic poison that's slowly shutting down his system, and he only has 1 hour to find the man who did it before his heart gives out for good. So, let's dive into this high-octane chaos. We open on Chev, played by the legendary Jason Statham, looking like he's just crawled out of a blender. He finds a CD left for him with FU written on it. Not exactly a Hallmark card. He pops it in, and there's this sleazy gangster, Ricky Verona, laughing about how he poisoned Chev while he was asleep. The catch? It's revenge for a hit Chev supposedly carried out on a Chinese mafia boss named Don Kim. Chev isn't just mad, he's smash his entire TV and sprint out the door mad. He realizes that the only thing keeping him from flatlining is the sheer rage and adrenaline pumping through his veins. He hits the streets like a man possessed. He's driving his car over sidewalks, screaming into his phone, trying to reach his girlfriend, Eve. But of course, it goes to voicemail. Then he calls his doctor, Miles, who basically tells him, "Yeah, you're pretty much a dead man walking unless you keep your heart rate through the roof." Imagine your doctor telling you that. Chev's vision starts blurring, his heart rate dips, and for a second, it looks like it's game over. But he slams the accelerator, the engine roars, and he's back in the game. It's a literal race against his own pulse. Chev tracks down a local lead named Orlando, dragging him into a bathroom and demanding to know where Ricky is. Just when things get heated, Orlando's goons burst in with guns drawn. It's a standoff, but Chev is literally dying on his feet. He's staggering, his heart is failing, and he does the most desperate thing imaginable. He starts snorting bags of sugar off the floor just to get a rush. When that's not enough, he decides the best way to get his blood pumping is to start a massive brawl. He headbutts a guy, screams who wants a piece of this, and leads a dozen armed men on a chase through the club. Talk about a workout routine. While he's dodging bullets, Ricky Verona calls him to taunt him. Ricky's even bragging about going after Eve. Chev is livid. He's driving through a shopping mall, yes, inside the mall, while Dr. Miles explains over the phone that he needs to find epinephrine or anything that mimics a massive adrenaline spike. Chev crashes his car, ditches it, and hops onto a taxi, but his heart is slowing down again. He forces the driver to blast the music, nodding his head so violently it looks like he's trying to shake his brains loose. He runs into a convenience store, grabs every energy drink in the cooler, and starts chugging. He even finds time to grab a flower for Eve. Even when he's dying, he's a romantic. Next stop, Carlito's penthouse. Carlito is the big boss, and Chev thinks he might have an antidote. But Carlito just laughs. He tells Chev he's been injected with horse tranquilizer, and it's a miracle he's still standing. No antidote, no help. Chev leaves, feeling the clock ticking down. He meets up with a friend, Kayla, who has a lead on Ricky's brother. When the brother tries to pull a gun, Chev doesn't just disarm him, he hacks the guy's hand off. And here's the wild part. When Chev runs out of bullets, he picks up the severed hand, still clutching the gun, and uses the brother's own finger to pull the trigger. That is some next-level irony right there. But the rush is wearing off. Chev storms a hospital, desperate for epinephrine. The nurse says no, so Chev starts sniffing nasal sprays like they're oxygen. He's running through the halls in one of those flimsy hospital gowns, backside totally exposed to the world, while cops chase him. He finds a doctor, points a gun at him, and demands a hit of the good stuff. When that's not enough, he grabs a defibrillator and tells the doctor to juice him. He gets blasted with electricity, flying backward into an elevator, but he's finally awake. He injects an entire vial of epinephrine into his leg, forgetting that the doctor told him to only take a tiny bit. Now he's not just awake, he's vibrating. He's running so fast down the street he's practically outrunning the cars. Dr. Miles calls him back, sounding like he's giving a eulogy. He tells Chev that much epinephrine will probably kill him anyway and basically says, "Nice knowing you, buddy." But Chev isn't done. He sees himself on the news, realizes he's a wanted man, and his response? He steals a police motorcycle, does a wheelie, and stands up on the seat with his arms spread wide, letting the wind hit him. He's chasing that high because the alternative is darkness. He finally makes it to Eve's apartment. She's totally oblivious, complaining about the microwave while Chev is trying to explain that assassins are coming to kill them. To keep his heart going, he literally burns his hand on a waffle iron. When the hitmen arrive, Chev has to play a deadly game of hide-and-seek, taking them out quietly so Eve doesn't panic. They escape to a Chinese restaurant where he finally tells her the truth. He's not a video game programmer, he's a professional hitman. He tried to quit for her, And this poison is the thank you gift from his old bosses. Eve is heartbroken, thinking he's lying to break up with her, but then Chev starts collapsing again. This leads to one of the most infamous scenes in action cinema. To get his heart rate back up in the middle of Chinatown, Chev realizes he needs public intimacy. He and Eve have a very loud, very public moment in front of a crowd of shocked tourists. It works. His heart is pounding, and he's back on the hunt. But the relief is short-lived. He gets a call from Kayla, but it's a trap. He arrives at a factory to find Kayla has been killed. It turns out Carlito was behind it all along because Chev's recent antics were bad for business. A massive shootout erupts. Chev is using Kayla's body as a shield, taking bullets in the leg, and dragging Eve through the crossfire. He manages to escape, but he's fading fast. He starts hammering nails into his own limbs just to feel the pain, just to stay awake. He meets Dr. Miles one last time, who tells him there's no hope for a cure, only a way to go out on his own terms.
Chev chooses Va.
He sets up a meeting with Ricky Verona at a rooftop helipad, promising to trade a family heirloom for the antidote. The finale is pure insanity. Chev walks into the lion's den, sweating and shaking, popping pills like candy. He's hallucinating, hearing voices, even seeing his own face talking back to him. When he meets Carlito and Ricky, they rip away his medicine. Carlito prepares to finish him, but Chev has a surprise. He signals and Don Kim's men, the guys he was supposed to kill, burst out. It turns into a bloodbath. Ricky tries to escape in a helicopter, but Chev isn't letting him go. He grabs onto the landing skids as the chopper lifts off. High above the city, Chev climbs into the cabin. Ricky injects him with more poison, thinking it'll end him, but it has the opposite effect. Chev's blood starts boiling. He tackles Ricky, and they both tumble out of the open door. As they're falling thousands of feet toward the pavement, Chev doesn't panic. He snaps Ricky's neck mid-air, then pulls out his cell phone. He calls Eve one last time, leaving a beautiful, heartbreaking message telling her she's the greatest. He hits the roof of a car, bounces off, and lands on the pavement. The camera zooms in on his eye, and he blinks. His heart is still beating. What a ride, right? It makes you wonder, if you were in Chev's shoes and had 1 hour left to live, would you spend it seeking revenge, or would you find a quiet place to say goodbye? Let me know in the comments what your adrenaline plan would be. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more wild movie recaps. Thanks for watching.